Is that based somewhat on our founding fathers and their beliefs versus where we are today?
That's right, Marty. It's based on the principles of our founding and kind of where we've gone from there up till today.
Okay, good. Well, let me ask you one question that came up in on my Facebook page last night from a friend of mine. Are you dogging interviews? Are you dodging them at all? Or are you out there for anybody that wants to interview you?
Yeah, I'm not dodging any interviews at all. There was a situation where a station wanted to interview me while I was working, and I was not available. But I did get to speak with them last night. So.
Okay, so that's not an issue that's true at all. You're not dodging anybody.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. The obvious question that came out of the article in the Californian last week, there's an accusation that you hacked into Ken Mettler's computer. Did you hack into Ken Mettler's computer?
No, not at all.
Okay. Why would you be considered a suspect for hacking into Mettler's computer?
Well, I was very closely involved in Ken's campaign, and with the controversy and the fighting that occurred several months ago, this is backlash for that incident with the Republican Assembly Kern County and CRA and the Ken Mettler issue that we brought up with misappropriating funds and so on and so forth.
Can you give us a thumbnail answer on what that situation was?
Well, I'd become president of the board for RAC, Republican Assembly Kern County, and afterwards we formed a committee to investigate or to audit our finances, which is just kind of a regular practice for a new administration. So we went through a couple years of financial records, the committee did, and then came back to the board, which Ken Mettler was on the board as well as the immediate past president. And when they came back, they'd found certain things that we brought to the membership and to the CRA, and it became public knowledge, and it started a fight. We were seeking for the CRA to investigate the claims, but they turned around and said that we were trying to derail Ken's campaign, and they kicked us out of the board and kicked me out of the CRA for 15 years.
Now, let me ask you a question. So the state kicked you off the board?
Yes, the state group kicked us off the board.
Okay. Was Ken involved with the state at that time?
Yeah, he was their immediate past president as well, because he had just stepped down to file for the assembly race.
Okay, in fair disclosure, I mean, he was involved in that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, again, I don't want to push this issue, but this is the core of it all.
Sure.
Why would you be a suspect? I mean, is there any particular reason why you would be a suspect and say 2 or 3 other people on the board may not be?
Well, I was very involved in his campaign, and I had access to everything, and I was involved in almost every aspect of the campaign. So that would be why, I would imagine.
Did you have access to his computers as well?
Not to his computers, because they're physically in his home.
But through the internet?
No.
So there was no way you could have hacked into his computers at all?
No, not at all.
And what makes him think someone hacked into his computers in the first place, do you know?
Well, in the process of everything that happened, one of the things that occurred was emails were leaked from his campaign. And I think that was the catalyst for his complaint.
Okay, because I think looking at the article in the Californian, they're trying to, it's the old, if it sounds like a duck and it walks like a duck, the chances are it's a duck. I mean, they're drawing some analogies here. You've got the fact that you're an information technology specialist, and I like the way they put this in the paper. I mean, you can tell their particular slant on this article here. That's what you do for a living,
right? And
that you're involved, or the group that you were a part of, is at odds, or has been at odds in the past with the group led by Mark Abernathy, which includes Kevin McCarthy and Bill Thomas. That's no surprise.
Okay, right.
Okay. And then they end the article by saying you are now represented in your city council bid by Mark Abernathy.
Right.
So they're letting you draw your own conclusions there.
Sure.
So, how would you respond to that?
Well, do you want to ask a more specific question?
Okay. Well, the paper is telling me that here it is. You're involved in RAC, and all of a sudden, which is anti-Abernathy, and all of a sudden now you've got Abernathy. This is all washed out, cans out of the picture, and now you're represented by Abernathy. The insinuation here in the Californian is, well, is there something here?
Is there a conspiracy?
Well, the paper doesn't say conspiracy, but
I guess the real question is, how did Mark all of a sudden start
picture.
managing your campaign?
Okay. So are you asking me, did we bring these things against Ken Mettler because Abernathy wanted us to, and now he's rewarding me by representing me in the campaign?
Not at all.
Or something
Not
like
at
that?
all.
Oh no, I wouldn't. I wouldn't accuse either one of you of that. I'm just saying this is what the paper's stating. Okay. So, and obviously by stating this, in a vacuum, which is in effect what they're doing, they're making an insinuation here. Okay.
Okay. Something to that effect.
Well, you'd have to ask the Californian, but looking at this, let me just quickly read this, okay, and see how you draw from this. Bertram is an information technology specialist with a local oil field services company who's been active in Republican politics in Bakersfield for several years. Became a leader of the Republican Assembly, a conservative group once led by Mettler. That group often sparred with the more moderate and powerful wing of Kern County's Republican Party, led by Republican Representative Kevin McCarthy, former Congressman Bill Thomas, and their campaign consultant, Mark Abernathy. Then you look at the last portion of the article. It says, Bertram is now being represented in his city council bid by Abernathy. That's not all that subtle.
Yeah.
So, my question is, how do you respond to that? I'm actually giving you a chance to respond to that.
Well, I would say that I wasn't a part of the Republican Assembly long enough to. I wasn't a part of it when Abernathy was, when they were fighting with Abernathy or whatnot. I actually came to the Republican Assembly just maybe for a couple of years ago, and so everything that I knew about Abernathy, I knew from secondhand information from Ken and others in the group.
Which was not positive.
Which was not positive.
Sure. Okay.
Right.
I mean, in all fairness. Okay.
And so that was the extent of my knowledge about Mark Abernathy. Now, in the process of everything that had happened, I'd never met Abernathy, but after this happened, the falling out with Ken because of this controversy, I have friends who knew Shannon Grove, who is now running, and they were telling me that she's a very strong Christian conservative woman. And so I began to look into that, and I attended a fundraising dinner. I met Mark, spoke to him, and then I decided to attend some of his worldview lunches that he does, reading books like Mere Christianity, things like that. Got to know him a little bit and found that he was pretty much as conservative as anybody I've ever met. And I knew that when I was going to be, if I were to ask him, do you want to represent me in this campaign, I knew that this would be an issue. But I just didn't want to let those circumstances dictate what I did. So I decided that I would ask him because I think he's probably the best in the area.
Sure.
And his views align with mine as far as conservative constitutional principles. And so I said, you know what, I know that there are people who will think that there's something wrong there, but I'll be happy to talk to him about it and clear things up rather than avoid dealing with him just because there's this stigma that's based on rumors.
Okay.
So.
Now let's pick that up in a second when we come back, okay?
Sure.
This is Taking Care of Business on Kern Radio Newstalk 1180.
Join Kern Radio's Scott Cox live from the Kern County Fair this Thursday from 8 to 10 a.m. It's Salute to Ag Day, sponsored by H.M. Holloway and Jim Burt Ford. And joining Scott will be the Kern County Agriculturist of the Year, Martha Twisselman, the first woman ever to be named to receive that honor. Twisselman has been involved in the family's livestock business for more than 5 decades. Her story of hard work in Kern County is one for the ages. It's the Scott Cox Show live from the Kern County Fair, Thursday at 8, right here on Kern Radio Newstalk 1180.
Zingo's Cafe has been serving Bakersfield for over 40 years. From their down-home biscuits and sausage gravy to melt-in-your-mouth meatloaf dinner that's better than Mom's. Everyone knows Zingo's is the place to go for a delicious home-cooked meal at true value prices. 7 days a week, they serve fabulous dinner specials for only $6.95, drink included. Monday, feast on home-cooked meatloaf. Tuesday is golden brown chicken strips. Wednesday is authentic Mexican food night. Thursdays, try tender pork steak. Friday serves up grilled fish. Saturday is spaghetti night. And Sunday, you'll enjoy slow-roasted beef stew. Yes, all those delicious meals for only $6.95 per person. 7 days a week from 2 to 5 p.m. Did I mention Zingo's Cafe has homemade pie? They have all your favorite fruit pies like cherry, apple, and berry, and homemade cream pie too. Chocolate cream, lemon cream, peanut butter cream, or coconut. Try a slice or take the whole pie home. Whether you're a longtime patron or new to town, let Zingo's Cafe do the cooking for you. 3201 Buck Owens Boulevard. That's 3201 Buck Owens Boulevard.
With cheaper home prices, lower mortgage rates, and big discounts on foreclosures, buyers now have plenty of incentives to get into the real estate market. Coldwell Banker Preferred can help you determine your buying power. They have many resources to assist you in your home search, and they can help you negotiate. The professionals at Coldwell Banker Preferred will guide you through the closing process and make sure everything flows together smoothly. Trust Coldwell Banker Preferred for the most experienced professionals in the market. Coldwell Banker Preferred sells more houses in Bakersfield and Kern County than anyone else. They have 3 locations to serve you: Coldwell Banker Preferred Ming Avenue, Coldwell Banker Preferred Coffee Road, or Coldwell Banker West Wind. Phone 616-3600, 616-3600. Coldwell Banker Preferred. Expect the best.
Your vehicle is one of your biggest investments, and your transmission is the backbone to supporting superior performance. Trust your transmission needs with Bakersfield's Kern Transmission. The single biggest cause for transmission failure is hot temperatures. Come in today at 2907 Brundage Lane and let their professional staff service your transmission to keep it running smoothly and efficiently. Call 636-0157 for your vehicle's appointment today. That's 636-0157. Kern Transmission, Kern County's #1 reliable and professional transmission specialist.
Sir Lube at 800 Oak Street, Bakersfield's most trusted lube shop for 30 years. The pros at Sir Lube will thoroughly check your vehicle and only perform the maintenance you need to keep the tow truck away. Sir Lube features Haviland and most major brands of oil, transmission and radiator service, air conditioning service, serpentine belts and batteries are also available at Sir Lube, 800 Oak Street. Sir Lube and Haviland. Add more life to your car.
You're listening to Taking Care of Business with Marty Pay and Clay Kerner on Kern Radio Newstalk 1180.
I like our music. We are back with Taking Care of Business on Kern Radio Newstalk 1180. Our in-studio guest is Martin Bertram. Martin, you were talking about your association with Mark Abernathy?
Right.
Okay. And then are you finished with that, answering that question, or do you have any other comments you want to make on that?
Well, pretty much just that, I figure he's the best in town.
Sure.
And like I said, I've